what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Network Chuck 2020, and we're talking about the top 5 IT skills for 2020. Now, I'm going to start off with this. You may not like the list, and I'll also kind of give you a warning. Hey, get your coffee ready, or whiskey, whatever you're drinking. I don't know. This is an extremely biased list. It's a list that I think will be awesome for anybody who chooses these skills in 2020. They're skills I'm pursuing, skills I'm going to add to my resume, and I think you should too. Now, if I sound a bit weird, I'm fighting off a cold, long road trip, and I caught something on the way back. So here we go. I'm going to take a sip of coffee, and we'll jump right into the 5 top IT skills in 2020. And yes, Mike Renner, my desert trip was mind expanding. I went to the desert. And also, quick shout out to B. Hicks, member of the Network Chuck Army, one of my memberships here on YouTube. Thank you so much. You're the only member in that tier, so you're awesome. Thank you. You would have seen his picture in the intro. All right, so here we go. They're kind of in a certain order. So, and number 1 being the skill I think is most important for us, whether you're a programmer, system admin, CCNA guy, networking guy, or you're just starting out. These are in order of least importance to most important. Okay, here we go. Number 5. Can you see it? Security. Now I know it's kind of vague because security is big. Security can be a lot of things. You could go for CCNP security, go on the Cisco track and become more of a networking security person. You can look at cyber security. You can look at server security, cloud security, whatever security you look at, except for security guard. You could do that, but you wouldn't make very much money. That's not why you're here. Security is going to be, well, it already is huge. And if you choose to go down that path or further yourself down that path, it's going to be great for you. It just is. Because, I don't know, every other week we hear about a security breach. Something got hacked. Something happened. And that scares people. And that makes them spend lots of money on people like you. So that's always a good place to be, high demand. So security. And that bleeds into, and now certifications for that. There are a number of certifications for security. This isn't the video for that. This is more of a skill-focused situation. So you can apply security to a number of different disciplines. You could apply it to programming and you're securing your programs, or you can apply it to whatever, just a lot of stuff. Now, number 4, 5 bleeds right into this, and that is hacking. Hacking. I think hacking is probably one of the most important skills. Now, when I say hacking, I don't mean like, oh, we're going to go steal money from the government. Or we're not doing that. We're not hacking the NSA or anything. No. I mostly mean ethical hacking, meaning you are like a pen tester. You are responsible for, you're hired by a company and you try to break into that company. You test that company for vulnerabilities. Hey, let's find your weaknesses so we can help you patch those weaknesses so the bad hackers don't hurt you. That's also a huge, huge skill. Now, I mentioned before this that these are skills I'm going to be adding to my resume this year. So security is one of the big ones. I've dealt with a lot of different security, mainly networking security, but I want to broaden that a bit to maybe cloud security. And then I also want to become more of a hacker. Of course, ethically, right? But that kind of stuff excites me. And again, I think the industry is going to demand it. And if you seek that skill, woo! Now, where do you go for that kind of information? There are a ton of courses out there. I'll put some information in my description, but some certifications out there. There's the CEH, the Certified Ethical Hacker, which has some industry cred. A lot of the hackers don't like that one, but it is out there, and I do see it on certain job postings. There's the Pen Tester Plus from CompTIA. But the big one that everyone talks about is the OSCP, the Offensive Security Certified Practitioner, or something like that. It's good, and it's a rigorous test, but it is awesome apparently. But hacking is one of those disciplines, one of those skills that you don't really need a certification to say I'm good. It's more of just a bunch of different disciplines all into one. Security being one of those things. You have to know how things are secured in order for you to break into them and hack them and test them. And finding those vulnerabilities is a valuable skill. Now, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. I think at this point, someone said CEH is good if you want to work in the Department of Defense, that would be an amazing job. So if you want to do that, do it. Okay, number three. Number three, I think cloud. I've talked about cloud a lot on this channel, so if you've watched me for any amount of time, you're not a stranger to cloud. What is the cloud? The cloud is someone else's computer, pretty much what it is. So companies normally have their infrastructure in a data center. They used to have their infrastructure in their own data center, but it's not very cost effective. It's hard to grow, so they will move their stuff to a cloud provider, someone who will host that stuff for them. The big players out there, we got Azure, Microsoft Azure, love it. I produced a course on that. If you want to check it out, link below. We've got AWS, Amazon. Ever heard of Amazon? I mean, I get stuff delivered like twice a day. And then the other big player, kinda, Google Cloud. As far as importance and how big these are, AWS is still the king. Azure, he's second, but not very close. And then Google Cloud is doing something on the side. Matthew Beach, thank you so much for the super chat. When is CCNP Enterprise coming out on CBC Nuggets? We actually just had a meeting, me, Keith, and Knox, and Jeff Kish, and Jeremy Char. We all talked about it this morning, and it's coming soon. We're working on it. Is the old CCNP training good enough? It's actually awesome, the old CCNP training. And I tell you what, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to Pomodoro this and answer that here in a bit so I can get the five list here out for people. So cloud. More and more people are moving their stuff to the cloud. And I'm a huge cloud advocate. I love the cloud. It's so awesome. Even just for you learning and labbing, it's so easy to learn. There's associate level certifications for all the cloud stuff. That's amazing. And that's what you got. I mean, goodness gracious. That skill is going to set you apart now. Now, in 5 years, it's going to be like a required skill. It's going to be like, well, you don't know cloud? Then how are you even in IT? Like, that'll be 5 years from now. Now it's like, oh, you know cloud? Take all my money. Like, that's what we're looking at here. So the thing with cloud, though, is you want to pair it with another skill. So if you're learning your CCNA, keep doing that, then go for cloud. If you're learning mcsa, keep doing that, go for cloud. If you know Python, whatever skill you're building right now, keep doing that, and then build cloud on top of that. Coffee break. So that's number three. Now, I am going to say this. I already have the Azure Administrator certification, and I produced a course for that on CBT Nuggets. I'm going to look at, dare I say it, AWS this year. Amazon Web Services. I am going to get the associate certification because I'm curious, and it is a big player out there. So I'm going to learn that. Of course, I'm making content on it, so be looking for that. Number four. I almost forgot what I wrote. Did I forget? Yeah. Or no, number two. I mean, I'm going backwards, right? Number two. Python. Why Python? Python is... I think it's the number one programming language for people like you and I. If you are like an IT person, like if you started on the help desk and you support systems or networks or cloud infrastructures, Python has been that first introductory language for us all. Because it's one of the easier ones to learn, and it's super powerful, and it has a ton of support in our community already. So if you're doing network automation, Python's the name of the game. If you're doing cloud stuff, Python is highly supported. Python's everywhere. So this skill, the reason I name it a top skill in 2020 is because you can apply it to any discipline. So many of you may have come to this video thinking, oh, I need to look at the top 5 certifications for 2020. This is not that video. I'm talking about the top 5 skills that will set you stinking apart for 2020, that will make your resume just pop out onto, like, the HR is like, it's going to be amazing. So Python, one of those skills that will just accelerate, be the catalyst to whatever skill base you already have. So if you're on the help desk, you learn some Python, man, automate some stuff. You can move up, become a developer, whatever, but we'll all be developers before long, right? I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Cole Phillips, thank you for the super chat. Let me know if you have a question. I'll answer it here in a bit. So Python, it's one of those things I've been talking about for a long time. If you want to start learning Python, the absolute best way to learn Python is, in my opinion, Codecademy. A bunch of hands-on learning. You're just from the ground. You are just typing and coding just from lesson 1. It's so cool. Link below for that. And now the number one skill I think you need to learn. Now many of you already see this coming. It's gonna like, oh, he's already talked about this. Here it is. The number one skill I think you should learn in 2020. It's gonna set you apart. Linux. Why Linux? Because Linux is like everywhere. Oh my gosh, it's so everywhere. When I was on my road trip and I was driving to the Grand Canyon, and there's like the last gas station I could find forever, so I stopped there. I go to pump my gas, and the pump is not working. And I look at it and it's rebooting. The gas station pump was rebooting. And what do you think it was? The OS. It was Linux. Linux is everywhere. And I've already made a video about this where I talk about Linux is the best and you got to learn it. Everyone should learn Linux. I mean it. Linux is one of those skills very similar to Python, where if you learn it, you can apply it to so many of the main foundational disciplines. So if you're a Microsoft guy, guess what? Microsoft loves Linux. If you're getting into Azure, the cloud, or AWS, guess what? They all love Linux. Linux servers run the world. Linux is everywhere. If you're a programmer, of course you got to know some Linux, unless you're like a .NET developer on Microsoft. But even still, Linux is bleeding into Microsoft's becoming more open source. Did I just say that? Yeah, I think they will be maybe one day. I don't know. George, thank you for the super chat. So Linux is, I say it's the number one skill because it's one of those skills that if you just learn Linux, you can be a Linux admin, and that's awesome. Linux is one of those things where if you are getting your CCNA and you're moving up to CCNP, if you're learning Cisco networking, Linux is such a big part of it. Like I helped teach the CCNA over at CBT Nuggets, so if you want to check that out, link below. And my portion of the CCNA was network automation, and guess what? To know network automation, a key point is knowing Linux. I even believe on the CCNP, just the Encore exam. Linux, you have to know some Linux. So Linux is just bleeding into everything. And it's one of those skills that still, to this day, people kind of shy away from because it's not the traditional, click. Now, I know there are Linux GUIs, graphical user interfaces. I get a comment once a day. People on my last video where I said, everybody should learn Linux. And I said, the reason you should learn Linux is because it's scary. There's no GUI. It's just command line. I understand there are GUIs. There's Ubuntu desktop environments. There's Pop OS. There's Arch Linux. There's beautiful OSs, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about people who use it for the desktop, because people who use it for the desktop are weird. Weird in a good way, because you're a tinkerer. Dominic, thank you so much for the super chat. If I'm going too fast, tell me to slow down. This is my second cup tonight, fifth cup today. But I'm not gonna slow down. Don't even tell me. Linux is getting up there. Like, you can game on Linux now and stuff. So Linux desktops are cool, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Linux in the data center. Linux on Raspberry Pis, not Raspbian. I'm talking about just running a headless server, running it in your data centers and running it in the cloud and making it run great. That's the skill I'm talking about. So a quick review. I mixed up my cards. Oh no. Number 5. Learn security because people are hacking things. Learn hacking, number 4, because you can help people secure themselves from hackers by knowing how a hacker works. You got to know your enemy, right? Number 3, know the cloud, because we're all going to be in the cloud one day. Number 2, know Python, because we'll all be developers one day. And number 1, learn Linux, because Linux runs everything. Pretty simple. Wes Jones, thank you for the super chat. He asked, what can you do with Linux and networking? Oh boy, network automation. That's one of the biggest ones. If you want to run any kind of network automation, specifically like Ansible runs off of Linux. You got to install it there, and you can automate a ton of stuff. Did you know that a lot of the new Cisco network devices, like Cisco Nexus, the data center switches, have Linux installed on box? Cisco is built on Linux already. But they actually have a Linux box you can access. It's called Guest Shell, and you can log in and run Python commands. So Cisco has very much embraced Linux and Python. As far as like Linux and networking, there are boxes that are pure Linux, like Cumulus data center switches, which are just simply Linux. You log in there and you're in Linux and you're doing Linux commands to configure a networking device. So Linux and networking, more like networking in Linux. So definitely a skill you got to learn. That was my top 5. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Now, I made that list based on pure bias. I've been in the industry for a little bit, and I keep an eye on things, and I see what's becoming popular, and I see how things change. And I see how, I'll go through job websites and look at what's hot, what's coming, and the way things are changing, I think these skills are what's going to be it. I'm not saying learn all of them. Now, if you learn all of them, you'll be awesome. But focus on one at a time. You might find that you really love Linux, and you want to become just a Linux guru. That's fine. You might become a developer if you learn Python. Cloud. Cloud, you might just fall in love with cloud, but you're going to use all of these skills kind of complementary if you're going through cloud or security, especially hacking. I mean, hacking, you can't be a hacker without knowing Linux, Python, and such. Dimitri. Thank you for the super chat. Dimitri is a network automation expert, Python developer. I think he's learning Go now too. He's abandoning yes. He says, I'm a simple man. I hear network automation. I click subscribe. But we will need to talk about those Ansible suggestions, Chuck. Do you not like Ansible anymore? I know you're big into, was it Pyats or whatever this stuff is? Esteban asks, Chuck, is CompTIA Linux a good place to start learning Linux? Yes. Yes, it is. Actually, it's something I'll be getting very soon. Video coming actually probably on Wednesday this week. I'll be posting a video about the Linux Plus, which I said I'd be pursuing 6 months ago. It's been a while. I'll be doing it now because I got busy, guys. I got busy. I was going to answer your question about CCNP. What was the question? Oh my goodness. Oh, is the current CCNP material good enough for the new Encore? Yeah, actually the Encore, I feel like it's kind of like what the new CCNA is doing. It has a lot of the core concepts you'll see. Actually, it kind of took some of the old CCNA concepts and it absorbed it into the Encore. But it's going to have the core networking, routing, and switching stuff with a bit more into it. Like you'll have automation stuff, so you'll have to learn that. You'll have some security and wireless, but just look at the exam objectives, and let me tell you, current trainings out there. So like CCNA security, CCNP security, CCNA wireless, CCNP wireless, the current CCNP routing and switching. If you just take bits and pieces of that and compare it to the Encore exam objectives, you can start studying now. The Encore book is already, is it out? It's on Safari Books online or O'Reilly. So yeah, the new CCNP, it's pretty cool. I'm excited about it. Jorge Ramirez. Thank you for the super chat. He says, hey Chuck, with all these skills, I feel overwhelmed trying to decide which one to learn first or if I should do all of them at the same time. Any tips? I hear you. Been there. Actually, currently there. And the temptation is to kind of pinball, bounce back and forth between learning each one. No. Here's what I recommend. Pick one of them, spend some time with it. Fall in love with it. Take it on a few dates. Get to know it a little bit. And the best way to do that is pursue a certification. So for example, Linux. Learn Linux, just Linux. Get the Linux Plus. Once you finish that, you will have a pretty darn good grasp on, you'll have enough Linux knowledge to comfortably move into network automation, to some Linux admin stuff, to the cloud. When I say learn Linux, I don't mean program work on the kernel. No, I don't I mean learn enough Linux to be able to bounce around and change networking interfaces and know the file system and just know what okay, that broke, here's why, some basic stuff, not like CCIE level kind of stuff. And it's same thing goes for Python. There's not really a great Python certification, but you could pick a course to follow. That's why I love courses, because they give you a curated view of something, and you can kind of monitor your progress. You're not lost in the weeds or overwhelmed. So Codecademy is great. Just take their basic Python course, and once you finish that, again, if you go through Codecademy's Python stuff, you'll have enough Python to comfortably move into network automation or the cloud, and you can just build on those skills. That's the thing with IT is that when you see all the requirements, especially when you look at job description, it's I will never be there. That's so much. That's a high mountain. But no. Just look at that first step, maybe that first hill, and you'll build. You'll build. It takes time, but you're never going to climb the mountain just by looking at the whole dang mountain. No, just look at the first few steps ahead. Work on Linux. And once you feel comfortable in Linux, move to the next discipline. Some people work on a couple of things all at once. I'll do that sometimes, but I won't let myself, if I start to feel overwhelmed, I'll go, nope, can't do that. I'm going to focus on one thing, because let's face it, multitasking is a myth. Now, often, when you're learning a skill, for example, Python, It incorporates using something with Linux or vice versa. So you end up maybe learning a skill all at the same time, like how to build a web server on a Raspberry Pi. You're going to be using a lot of skills all at once. Learning network automation, you're going to be using a lot of skills all at once. So it's a journey. But if you feel overwhelmed, narrow it down to one dang thing and don't let yourself get lost. Esteban, thank you so much for the super chat. If you have a question, let me know. I'll try to find it. Oh, a lot of stuff came in. I'm trying to pace myself here. Michael Cook, thank you for the super chat. Oh, they have stickers. Look at that. I didn't know we had that. Is that a pair with a headband? Thank you. If you have a question, let me know. Let's see. Kind of just browsing through the questions here. Oh, Lennis Smith. I appreciate it. He says I'm a good motivator. He got CCNT. That's awesome. I hope you're getting your ICND 2 before February 24th. Got about a month left. Because CCNT, while an amazing certification and is great, will not really exist after February 24th. Jeremy Morris, did I answer your super chat? What was it? Ask it again real quick and I'll see if I can find you. And thank you for being a member, Jeremy. If you don't know, I have a membership as part of my YouTube channel. I give a few perks, like a special live stream with just members, which I don't do often. But I'm going to be better in the new year, I promise. But yeah, join my membership. It's a way to kind of help me do more of this, and I really, really appreciate it. Hector says, anything you recommend for project management in IT? I've been notoriously bad at managing my own projects. That's why when I moved to a bigger company and they had a project manager, I was like, thank you, good sir, take this, please. I would not be the one to ask about that. But I mean, if you want some help, there's project management training. There's the PMP certification. So you can kind of just peruse some of that stuff, the agile stuff and all that. I'm not the guy to talk to about that. I am not organized. I just like tech. I don't like organizing tech. Dimitri, thank you for the super chat. He says, how is your DevNet cert prep? It's coming. I do still have the exam scheduled, February 24th. So yeah, we'll see, Dimitri. I do have some stuff under my belt from doing the CCNA network automation portion of the CBT Nuggets stuff. So just got to add a few more things to it, and I think I'll feel pretty good. How's everyone doing with their certpocalypse? Yeah, have your cert scheduled? Oh, Jeremy, I don't think I got your question. CCNA tier setup. I don't know what your question was. I don't know what that means. Oh, new. You fixed it. New CCNA tier setup. There are no CCNA tiers. There's just the CCNA. That's it. And then you have to move on to CCNP. That's all there is. Oh, great question. Julio says he received a CCNA. Just received a CCNA. Congrats. Best feeling in the world, right? I remember when I got my CCNA. It was so cool. I just started learning Linux today. Yes. What I love about Linux is that it gives me the same feeling I had when I first started learning Cisco. You just feel cool when you're on a command line. You just feel cool. I don't know if that's like from watching movies and stuff, but I just feel awesome. His question, let me get to your question. Is Linux used with a DevNet or Cisco Ops? Linux, yes, is used with DevNet. In fact, if you don't know, DevNet, Cisco DevNet, developer.cisco.com, provides a ton of free labs, sandbox labs that you can access all their stuff. And on many of the labs, they have Linux boxes built in to use. But yeah, to answer your question, network automation, which is the DevNet stuff, Linux is heavily used. Like I said, a lot of the network hardware, Cisco network hardware has Linux. Like you can just access Linux, guest shell, and access things. Adrian says, Chuck, did you ever finish your CCNP? Way to rub it in. No, not yet, but I plan to finish it before Certpocalypse, February 24th of this year. I'm feeling good. I've taken them before and passed them before. They just expired. I just have to do it all within a 3-year span. I'll be able to get it. I'm going to use Boson to get it. Josh Kendi, thank you for the super chat. He says, I make $60K now and want to get into IT. I don't have any degrees. Can I get into IT without taking a pay cut? $60K, where do you live? That's going to be the big kicker. I know plenty of people who have started baseline IT and like help desk, and they've made around $60K, maybe a little bit less. Like I was on the help desk at one point making like 55, so it's totally possible to not take a pay cut. But that being said, if it comes down to it, taking that pay cut is going to hurt, but it's worth it, because the payoff in getting into IT and how quickly you can move up just by busting your butt for a little bit, man, is the payoff huge. I mean, I don't know if you've heard my story, but I went from selling toilets, I was a toilet salesman, to becoming a senior network engineer within like 5 to 6 years and making over 100K. And I was selling toilets making like 35. So, I mean, yeah, the initial pay cut is scary, and you have to tighten your belt a bit, and it may not be a thing you can do just yet, but totally worth it. Totally worth it. So that'd be my advice. Like, it's a risk, but man, you don't get far in life without taking a few risks. And I've done that a few times in moving jobs and stuff, and it scares the crap out of me. But man, I look back and I'm like, I'm so glad I did that. So that'd be my advice. Dominic, thank you for the super chat. Any tips on starting on being in network security? My biggest tip would be learn networking well. You can't secure a network unless you know how it works. So get your basics out of the way. Learn how it breathes and moves. And then once you know that, the natural path right now is to go to the CCNP security, which is kind of a scary jump, because you're going from CCNA, no flavor, just regular vanilla CCNA, which does have security in it now, which is cool, but it's like security light. And then you have to jump right to CCNP security. So there's quite a big gap. The good news is that the CCNA security study material isn't going away. The CCNA security certification is going away, but the study material is all out there. So my advice would be to kind of go through the CCNA security material a bit, get yourself familiar. CBC Nuggets has some stuff on that. There's books, there's other training, and just kind of get yourself familiar, maybe a bridge to move on to CCNP security. And the new Cisco stuff is so crazy, because you get the CCNP, I think it's the SEC core, the CCNP security core, which gives you all you need to know, the base, and then you can specialize in like security automation. Like there's all kinds of crazy stuff. But one thing I kind of kick myself on is that network security isn't the only thing out there. There's so many different areas and avenues of security, not just Cisco. I mean, Palo Alto firewalls are amazing. There's Checkpoint. There's cloud security. You can put networking appliances, security appliances in the cloud. There's so many different directions. So starting out, that's what I would do. Security Plus is also a very great certification, especially if you want to work in any kind of like U.S. government role. They require it for most roles in IT. But yeah, that's my advice. Let's see. Okay, got some more super chats. Oh, guys, you are so awesome. Let's see. Wes Jones. I apologize if I skip over it, because like a bunch just came in. How useful is building a home lab for the CCNA course? Can you use GNS3 or Packet Tracer? Me and Jeremy Chara have a spirited debate on this. I say a physical lab, while cool and fun, is almost kind of an annoyance, because you can't take it with you everywhere unless you like set up a remote situation. But even that's kind of cumbersome and and it's not scalable. So while building a lab in your home and buying the equipment off eBay is cool, here's some problems with that. You often end up with old equipment that may not work, and it uses electricity. It's while it is fun, like I'll admit, when you get your first chance to touch, smell, breathe in networking equipment, it's fun. But to learn it really quick and to study like advanced network engineers do, you want to start with the virtual labs. So GNS3, that's one of the best ones. Everyone uses that. I use that. That's what I would like. It's hard to, because I agree with Jeremy. Like dealing with the physical equipment is fun. It definitely gives you a different view of it. But oftentimes, I'll be honest with you. When I was in networking, like working for a company, I very rarely touch the equipment. I had the help desk guys. I would say, hey, George, go plug that in for me. Or, hey, George, I've got this computer not working. Here's the port. I looked it up because I'm command line. Most of the time, I'm dealing with remotely accessing equipment. So you're not going to lose too much from doing virtual stuff. So Packet Tracer, fantastic. GNS3, even better. That's what I recommend. You won't lose much, I promise you. Peter, thank you for the super chat. How do I stay motivated through... Peter, thank you for the super chat. Whoa, that was weird. My video just started playing. That was trippy. Okay, phone. How do I stay motivated through failure? I'm trying to get my CCNA and bunked it twice. Been there, bro. I failed my CCNP route twice. Failed my CCNP switch once. My best advice is to take a day, take a break, and just do something else. Get your mind off of it, and then get mad, get angry. Like, I'm gonna freaking do this. I'm not gonna let that test own me or define me. I'm gonna kill that test. So anger, I feel like I'm telling you to go to the dark side of the force here. No, but like get a fire under you. Like say that test is not going to beat me. Also what kept me motivated is just thinking about why. What's my big why in getting the certification? For me, when I was failing my CCNP, my big motivation was to be able to demand a higher salary or make a move to a better company. So I just had my eyes on that. I had my eyes on buying a house for my family. I had 3 kids at the time, so I'm like, I've got to make more money. I've got to provide more. And my wife doesn't work, so she was staying at home. I'm like, I have to make enough for the whole family. So that was my huge motivation. So like, test, you suck, you kick my butt, but I'm going to get you again. So having that why there and having that little bit of fire, a little bit of anger, a little bit of dark side, that's what kept me going. So yeah, you're going to kill that CCNA. You need to try and get it before February 24th. But here's the thing. If you don't get it before February 24th, guess what? A lot of the CCNA stayed the same. A lot of it did. A lot of the core concepts, the things that kind of are difficult to start learning at first, you already have down. You just got to add a few more things like network automation. Get to spend some time with me on CBT Nuggets, and it's just plain fun, and a few other things. But that's what I do. Hope that helps. Savage Scientist, really cool name. Thank you for the super chat. He went from a janitor to IT manager working at LSU. That's cool. Do you know Knox? Doesn't Knox work there? That's cool, man. That's crazy. Go from janitor to IT manager. That's a rags to riches story. That's incredible. I see those stories all the time. That's why I love IT. On my road trip, I was almost on the Jimmy Kimmel show. I was in LA and I was walking down Hollywood Boulevard, and one of their PAs were out there saying, "Hey, who wants to be on this bit?" And I'm like, I'll do it. And I spent some time in the studio, and I got to talk with the producers and stuff, and I was telling them like what I do. I'm like, well, I'm a YouTuber, and I tell people not to go to college. I tell people to skip college and just go into IT, and I show them how to do it. And when I said that, I'm like, that it's so cool that we can do that. It's such a life-changing thing to skip the traditional path. The traditional path is like get into debt, take a ton of useless classes, and with a little bit of good information for you, and then you get out. And what I see most people do when they graduate is they end up getting certifications to get a job. I'm like, skip all that junk, get your certifications, get a great job now. And so many people have done that. And to hear stories, it's so cool. It gets me going. Bill says, weight of Wireshark packet analysis on resume. I think it's not like a heavy hitter, but it's definitely valuable. I've seen multiple times on job descriptions, they want Wireshark experience, how to analyze packets and troubleshoot a network. So saying, I know how to use Wireshark to do X, Y, Z. I wouldn't just say, I know Wireshark real good. I wouldn't say that. I would say, like, I have troubleshooted networks, or I can troubleshoot a network using Wireshark, doing TCP dumps, like doing all this kind of stuff. I would just more of a demonstration of what you can do, not just a skill set. But yeah, I mean, being able to do that is a valuable skill. I mean, I've spent so much time in Wireshark, mainly like troubleshooting voice stuff, which is so fun, but it's definitely a skill that I think is undervalued, but it definitely put on your resume. I would. All right, I'm trying not to skim too fast through my stuff. I think I just jumped over a bunch of stuff. Oh gosh, I did. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, my voice is like going away. I had a lot of meetings today. Oh, there we go, Nigel. Thank you for the super chat, Nigel. He says CCNA first or Linux Plus, which one? Well, see, it's one of those things where I don't know you. I don't know what path you want to go down. If you want to get into networking, I mean, CCNA is the no-brainer. Networking is awesome. But learning Linux, here's my thing. This I hate to say this. Networking, as we know it now, is still awesome, and it will be awesome for the next, I don't know how many years. Networking is changing, people. Networking is changing. It's changing to where knowing networking is a valuable skill, but a lot of our applications and our programs are doing a lot of the work we might have done in years past. So I think it hurts my heart to say that, but network automation takes a lot of the skills that we learned, like command line. How much of the CCNA is covering just command line? With network automation, command line's like don't do that. Use Python. That's what we're looking at now. So CCNA or Linux, I think for longevity and for a solid skill set, if you're just unsure what path to go down, I think Linux Plus is a great start, and it will help you with CCNA. Like, it's one of those things where you can't go wrong with going either or. It's almost like flip a coin, dude. You're gonna be successful. Like for the current time now, you're gonna be successful. The skills you learn in CCNA with networking are crazy valuable. The skills you learn in Linux Plus are crazy valuable. They complement each other. So flip a coin, do both. I don't care. I hope that answers your question. Oh man. Let me see. Scrolling through. I don't want to miss a super chat. Mikey asks, "Am I new to Linux?" No, not terribly new. I've dabbled very infrequently throughout my career, and more recently I've been doing stuff on my YouTube channel, and I'm going to do an official certification to just fill in the gaps. But no, I play with Linux a lot. I love it, especially Raspberry Pi and the Raspbian OS, and installing all kinds of other stuff. Cool. Well, I'm fading fast. Linux Plus Savage Scientist is still kind of Linux or LPIC, but the new Linux Plus is not LPIC. You can still test Linux Plus, the current one, I think, or the old one for a while, but I'm not sure how long. Dominic, thank you for the super chat. Where do you do your research on different certs? Does having a cybersecurity degree help? Why does automation excite you? That's a lot of questions that just like... Okay, here we go. Where do I research different certs? Certifications are valuable for one reason. Well, I'll take that back. They're valuable for two reasons. The main reason, though, is that certifications are valuable to companies. They're valuable to HR because they tell the company how skilled a person is. So if they know that when they hire someone who has a CCNA, they know they're going to know X, Y, and Z, and they can manage their network, and they have full confidence or some confidence in hiring that person. So when I do research on certifications, I look at what the industry is looking for. I go to job boards. I go to dice.com. I go to indeed.com, and I search like network engineer, and I look at all the postings, the top postings, and I see what are they looking for. Oftentimes, what do you think is going to be there? CCNA, CCNP, CCIE, Linux. They're going to be looking for, depending on what they have, they want some Linux Plus. They want some Red Hat stuff, the RHCA or the RHSC. I forget what it is. Red Hat. So that's how I do my research on it. I tend to ignore the top, which is ironic. I tend to ignore the top 5 lists that all these companies put out, even though I'm actually creating a top 5 list now. I ignore those. Like I try to do like my own research and look at the industry trends. And but I'll tell you this: no one area of the world is the same, and no like one area of the country is the same. We're in Dallas. Like Dallas is you can pretty much go in any direction in IT in Dallas, Texas, and you'll be successful. You'll have a good time. Networking, cloud, Linux, there will be jobs here. Whereas other places, it might be like networking is not a highly sought after skill. So you have to be careful. So I would just research where you're at and see what's hot and go that way. I'm of the opinion that if you, whatever you choose in IT, if you become good at it, and like Jeremy Chara just put out a video. If you don't know Jeremy Chara, then you're missing out. He put out a video about how to find your passion. And one of the points is that finding your passion most of the time involves picking something. You don't have to like it right away, but spend some time with it, get to know it. And when you become good at it, that's when you become passionate. Those kind of things kind of follow each other. You're passionate about what you're good at. And so that was part one of your question. Part two, does having a cybersecurity degree help? Having a degree of any type helps. Here's where the kicker is. I don't think people like specifically seek out people with cybersecurity degrees, because if someone tells me, hey, I've got a cybersecurity degree, I'm like, good for you. What do you know? Because it doesn't tell me much. It tells me they went through a degree program at college, and I don't know what that college put on their degree program. It's so like ambiguous. But if they tell me, hey, I have the OSCP, I'm like, snap, you know stuff. Or hey, I have the CCNP security. I'm familiar with that. You know your stuff. Like that's different. So that's where like having a degree is valuable. I'm not going to deny that. If you have a degree, yes, that's good for you. If you want to get a degree because you think it's going to be valuable, it will. The only reason I advise on not getting a degree is because it's kind of the taking the long way. In a lot of cases, in other cases, it's required. I understand that. In some countries, you're not even looked at unless you have a degree. But in Dallas and in America, and what I've experienced is that having a degree is kind of optional for a lot of companies. And a lot of guys in IT I've met, they have degrees, but they're like in accounting. Or they're in business administration, and then they got certifications. So people care like, oh, this guy finished a degree, so check box. But he knows networking, so let's bring him on because he has the CCNA. Next part of your question: why does automation excite me? Automation excites me because it's just cool. It's combining like I love Cisco, but if you're in Cisco for any amount of time. Configuring interfaces, configuring routing on large networks can become cumbersome. It becomes dry because it's just a repeatable process. Automation, the beautiful part about automation is you get a chance to have fun again. That's the same experience you had when you first configured OSPF. Isn't there anymore the 70th time you experience it. But you get that same feeling when you try to automate the configuration of OSPF. That's fun because you get to learn Python, you get to learn Linux, you get to do all these fun things to make it work. And in my CBT Nuggets course, I had, she's on right now, I had Alexa. Oh, she heard me. I had her configure OSPF on like 4 routers. And then I didn't show this. Be quiet. I didn't show this, but I also had her remove the configuration when I asked her to. So it's just there are so many things you can do. It takes one discipline in IT, networking, and it opens the door to use all kinds of things with it. And that's why I love it. I love, I'm just a geek. That's why I like automation, because automation allows you to play more. That's all it is. And the other reason I love automation is because that's where the industry is going, and it makes you valuable if you know that skill. That's another huge reason. And all about making sure you guys become valuable. Earning skills, advancing yourself, never keeping your head down, always keeping your head up, looking at the industry trends, getting yourself ready. That's what's going to set you apart. Never look down. Unless you're like walking, you want to make sure you're focusing. But no, never look down. Keep your eye out. All right, I just skipped over a ton of chats. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, I missed some stuff here. Make sure I didn't miss anything before that. And by the way, thanks to Dominic for all the super chats. You're awesome. Manurai, I hope I said your name right. How should I begin to study for the CCNP collaboration? Close to my heart. I just got my CCNA collaboration, and I'm lost as how to start for the new CCNP. that's where the collaboration stuff is so frustrating, because the current collaboration exams are old, because collaboration changes so fast. I realized if you don't know what collaboration is, Cisco collaboration is all about telephones. Yes, companies still use telephones. Video conferencing, chatting, you learn all that stuff. I used to be a collaboration engineer. So I would just look at the new syllabus and for CCNP collaboration, I forget what their core exam is called, and see what they're going to be testing on. I'm not sure what version of Call Manager they're going to be, or CUCM they're going to be using. Probably 12 by now. And just compare it to the old one and just pick out, that's what I do. Like if there's not new training out yet, I'll compare the new syllabus to the old one. Or I say syllabus, I'm like, this isn't high school. The exam objectives compared to the old exam objectives, and I'll see which ones match up. And I know I can use some of the old training for that, like the concept of hunt groups and programming a cube router. If you don't know that, like those things will be there. How to configure a gateway. Those things are going to be there. So SIP, learning SIP. Session Initiation Protocol, how voice gateways communicate, how phone endpoints communicate with the gateways. Those are things you want to learn. So yeah, just learn the universal things first, and as new training comes out, as the new concepts develop, you can apply those. That'd be my advice. Dave Anderson, thank you for the super chat. Since Python is currently taught in 2.7, is that enough for Cisco Devnet exams, or do you learn the completely different 3.8 Python syntax? As far as I know, most people have done away with Python 2. Most people have moved on to 3. So I haven't used 3.8. I don't know how different it is from 3.7. I've been using 3.7. But yeah, the syntax is different from 2.7 to 3.7. From what I know, most people are using 3.7. So that'd be my advice. Go for the newer, maybe not newest, but newer. So 3.7 maybe. Jeremy Morris, thank you for the super chat. Old versus new CCNA, which will weigh more in job market for career advancement, do you think? You know, that's a tricky question, Jeremy. Guys named Jeremy, you guys are always tricky. I'm just kidding. It's one of those things where if you put the CCNA on your resume, if you put the letters CCNA, you know what's going to happen? You show up in job searches. Some HR departments might put in a keyword search for CCNA routing and switching. I doubt that's the case. So most people are going to be looking for a CCNA. And guess what? If you have the old CCNA, they're gonna say he has CCNA. If you have the new CCNA, they're gonna go, he has the CCNA. There currently is not a good way to differentiate those two, and I don't think anyone's gonna care. Honestly, I think the weighting is not even an issue yet. And that opens up to the new problems we're going to have with the new CCNP exams, because you're going to have different flavors of CCNP certified individuals. One guy who got his CCNP certification is going to really know automation very well, while another guy is going to really know security well. And we don't have a good way to differentiate those two. We don't have a standard of how to do job postings or how to put that on our resume. So it's kind of like the Wild West right now. I think as far as putting it on your resume, new, old, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. People are going to be looking for CCNA certified individuals. Will there be a way to differentiate later on? Maybe, but I don't see how I don't see how Cisco is going to communicate that out to every company out there, from the large companies to the medium sized to the mom and pop companies who just need a certified guy that knows CCNA. It's going to be complicated. I hope that answered your question. So short answer to the long answer. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters at all. All right, scrolling through, hopefully not too fast. Tom, thank you for the super chat. Am I learning Bash shell with your Linux studying? If so, or am I using Codecademy? Yes. So yeah, learning Linux involves heavily learning Bash, the Linux shell, and kind of I guess you can call it their scripting programming language, just the syntax of how to use Linux. Oh yeah, very much so. I was surprised, shocked, in wonder of Codecademy's Bash scripting, I guess, course. It was so cool. I haven't finished it all the way, but yeah, I'm definitely using it. I love it. You know how I feel about Codecademy. I think everything they do is just golden. I love them. Azure or AWS? I'm going to give the answer I always give. Where are you at and who values it? Is your company using AWS? The best one is AWS. Is your company using Azure? The best one is Azure. If you do a job search and there's 100 job listings for AWS and there's only 2 for Azure, the best one is AWS. It just depends where you're at. The thing is, like, Microsoft is making a killing by doing some great deals with people who already use Microsoft servers or already have Microsoft Enterprise licensing. So going Azure is a no-brainer. There's a big government contract. The U.S. government, the DoD, Department of Defense, they had this big, like, $1 billion or couple $1 billion JEDI contract. Why do they name it JEDI? I don't know, but I'm not unhappy about it. Very happy about it, actually. They had the choice between Azure, AWS. They went with Azure. So the scales are always tipping. Right now, AWS is so popular, but it doesn't mean that AWS is going to be really popular where you are. So it just varies. Dave Anderson, thank you for the super chat. Follow up on Python. Where did you train on Python? Code Academy. Code Academy is the one of the best places. Like, cause I've when I first heard about network automation, this is probably back in 2014. I started to dabble in Python. I bought a few courses and I did it for a day and then I stopped. And then 6 months go by and I'm like, man, that Python thing, I should learn that. I'm going to get into it. Learn it for a couple of days, then I'd stop. And then I just forget everything I learned. But Code Academy changed that for me because it kept me busy. It kept me focused. It kept me encouraged. So Code Academy is what I recommend for learning Python. Even just their basic course. They have a free version of the course. I highly recommend going the pro version because they have these killer projects you get to work through, which are just, I told my brother to sign up for it, Cameron. He's been on the channel before. I said, do the pro. I don't have like an affiliate, or I don't have like a deal with him. I can't give it away. I said, hey, go sign up for it, Cameron. You won't regret it. And he texted me later. He's like, dude, this project thing that Code Academy has is amazing. I'm like, I know. So that's what I recommend. As far as going further, I mean, there's so many resources. Once you learn the basics of Python, once you learn how to, dealing with integers and strings and doing all that stuff, you can build on that by following like coding projects. You'll be able to look at a GitHub and go, I know a little bit of that. Wait, what is that? And then you can Google it. That's how developers work. Developers don't know everything about their language they work in. Just like anyone in IT, Google is your friend. So learning the basics to get yourself started, Code Academy. To keep going, pick a project, and you'll build up on that. Hope that answered your question. And let's see. I'm trying to read stuff. Oh, Dave Anderson, thank you for the extra super chat. Great question. Well, actually, 2 questions. I'm going to answer them right now. And that's the Dimitri's thing. Oh, I feel like Tony E. Tony E. Everyone, wish Tony E. good luck. He just finished his CCIE lab exam here in Richardson, Texas. He's about to go home. He's still in Texas. I wish I could just go and hang out with you, but like my wife is like, because we just got back from a road trip. So everyone, throw your good feelings towards Tony E. because he just did his final lab attempt before the new CCIE revs. So, dude, I know you killed it. Oh, I can't wait to find out your results. And I just totally went away. First, Ebenezer, best place to study CCNA. Coffee shops? No, I know that wasn't your question, but no, coffee shops are great. I have to give a shameless plug to CBT Nuggets. If you need a place to be inspired, have some killer training, have fun with it, that's the go-to. I'm not going to be like naive and say like that's the only place you can get study and that or material and that'll be good enough for you. No, I'm a firm believer in using multiple sources to get your certifications because people learn differently. Not every course is going to have everything. No one's taken the new CCNA, so no one truly knows which course is best yet. So use multiple sources. Use a great book. Wendell Odom is the king. Todd Lamley is also the king. I'm still debating on who I like more. I think Todd Lamley, I like him. and also some of his writers. Packet Thrower, shameless plug. Hope that answers your question. Firepower, or on the new CCNP, or Palo Alto. Again, it comes down to where you are. If your company recently invested in Palo Alto, dude, get Palo Alto certifications. If your company loves firepower and they have firepower, get firepower. Go that way. It just matters where you are, what's valued. And maybe it's where you want to be. Maybe you want to move to Orlando, Florida, and you know that Disney World uses Palo Alto. You know, that's what I used to do, right? I used to, when I'm fading. Need more coffee. When I was on the help desk, even when I was in network engineer, I would pull up companies that I love. So I pull up, like, I'm a huge movie fan. I love movies, as most people do. I would pull up like Cinemark, a big movie chain here in the U.S., or AMC, and I pull up Disney World, and I pull up Carnival Cruises because I love cruises. I'll pull up all these companies, Starbucks. I pull up all these companies, and I would see if they had any listings for jobs for people like me. And I would like look up network engineer, and I would go, oh, okay, what are the requirements? Oh, they're looking for someone with firepower. So Disney World uses firepower. That's what I want. So I need to work on that. So that's how I would build my skill set on places I wanted to be. Sorry, I'm like, I'm losing it. That's how I would build my skill set. I probably mentioned this before, but I actually interviewed with Starbucks corporate one time. I was so excited because they use Cisco, or they at the time. So maybe 4 or 5 years ago, they used Cisco collaboration, and I was like, this is it, man. I get to work for the place. I used to work for Starbucks. So I used to be a barista. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to work for a coffee company. I'm so excited. And they passed on me, probably because I was out of state. That's what I told myself to make myself feel better. But yeah, that's how I do it. Dimitri, he says, I like Code Academy, though. Just set your expectations correctly. You will have enough knowledge to get started. Yeah, like the Code Academy is like the kindling, like the fire starter before you really get going. After Code, you need to move on from Code Academy and go to bigger things. Code Academy is a great place for people just to get going. It's often a place I go back to relearn some things I've forgotten, because you're not going to use every skill all the time. Let's see. Oh, I'm skipping around. Oh, no. You guys are awesome, by the way. Coming back to doing this again in 2020. This is our first live stream in 2020, so God, I love spending time with you guys. Don't tell my wife. A great question from Corey A, and thank you for the super chat. Says, will CBT be working on any of the CCNP specializations or the core exams? For sure, most of the core exams. We're picking a few specializations, definitely like the N-Auto and the NRC. I don't know if I'm saying those right. How do you pronounce acronyms? And I think just as time permits, as people ask and demand, we'll produce. Like we do surveys. We ask people saying, hey, what do you want us to do? And then we'll make it based on popularity, because we can't, the way Cisco's done it, man, they made so many dang specializations that it would take 4 or 5 companies worth of people to do all of them. So we're picking and choosing what to do first. As time permits, we'll do it. But from what I've heard, I know Cisco's kind of halfway committed to redoing the certs every year or 2. I don't know, but they're ambitious. Let's see. Scooching down. Oh, yeah, Dimitri, thank you for the super chat. And let's get some hype for Tony E. He's been killing it on that CCIE study. Like, dude's a rock star. I should get him on the channel to talk about that. Pass or fail, it'll be a really killer story. Of course it's going to be a pass, but man, he's blushing. I got a chance to meet Tony E at Cisco Live last year. Super nice dude, super cool hat. Love that guy. Tillman, thank you for the super chat. Studying Linux Plus, we use Linux and Fabric Spine. What type of spine leaf fabric thing you got going on? Is like Cisco based or like ACI? Like what is it? That's cool though. That's really cool. Or are you studying Linux Plus or studying Linux? Also, we use Linux, and I don't know. But that's really cool. And thank you for the super chat. Great question from R lowercase s. What do I think about the CompTIA Server Plus certification and Active Directory for a person who's interested in cybersecurity? Server Plus, sorry. I think your time will be better spent focusing on a specific certification on what you're looking at. So like mcsa, Microsoft. If you want to learn Microsoft servers, do that. If you want to learn how to administer Linux servers, Linux Plus, Red Hat. That's what I would say. Oh, did I skip a bunch of stuff? Oh, man. ID10T error. Shout out from Discord. I'm back. Yes. Hey, guys, if you haven't joined my Discord channel, you should. That's what I gotta say. I have a Discord channel where we have just a ton of IT pros who are like industry veterans in there that are willing to help out. So if you're just getting started, or maybe you're an expert and you are looking for a place to just help those who are trying to follow in your footsteps, great place to do it. Gosh, I think we're sitting at almost 5,000, 6,000 members now. And just if you need encouragement, just go in there. If you have a question, if you have a problem with your server, go in there and ask questions. I try to pop in there. Well, I've been very absent the past like a couple of months because I've been busy, but I'm going to be in there every day now. So if you have questions for me off the stream, I'll be in there. Great place. So it's networkchuck.com/Discord if you want to go to the URL. I think I have a bot posting it every once in a while. It'll be in the description of this video too. And let's see, I'm going to scroll, last scroll through. Oh, goodness. Lots of stuff here. AJ, thank you for the super chat. My CCNP expired last year. Does it make sense to just study the Encore material to recertify or go for the new CCIE? Well, good news for you. The new CCNP the new CCNP Encore exam is also the prerequisite for the CCIE exam or the lab. So how the new CCIE works is instead of the CCIE written, and I don't know why I had all fingers, instead of the CCIE written and the CCIE lab like it is now, they now have the Encore exam as replacing the written and then the lab. So yeah, go for the Encore because that's the prerequisite now. That's the only prerequisite in our certifications now is the Encore exam, which serves two purposes. Serves the purpose of being the CCNP requirement and CCIE requirement, which is weird. Don't know why they did that, but that's what it is. So yeah, go for that. Dominic, how to record my journey as a network engineer. YouTube. I would love to see you on YouTube. I understand video presentations may not be everyone's thing. Blog form is awesome. Start up you know what I'd love to see? What I would love to see is a TikTok about someone's network engineer journey. Or maybe Instagram, you do Instagram stories. There's so many outlets, so many popular things. TikTok is like on fire right now. So if you want to, I don't know, encourage the high schoolers right now and some of the younger folks, yeah, that's the place to go. I'm going to try and do more TikTok. I'm kind of old, so I'm not really sure how to use it, but I'm going to try. I would love to see that. Seriously. Charles says, thank you for the super chat, Charles. Where do I suggest learning CCNP data center? CBT Nuggets, of course. We have a new data center guy, Jeff Kish, who has CCIE data center. Dude's a beast. I watched some of his content on the on ACI stuff, which is Cisco's automation in the data center. CBT Nuggets. No question. As far as like other stuff, getting access to data center class switches and routers, kind of hard, right? Because like they cost like $20,000 if not more. So getting like Cisco Viral, their emulation software, or going to the DevNet Sandbox. They have a bunch of ACI labs you can use. So that's what I would say. And then of course a good book. I think there's a data center book already out for the old one, of course, and then I think that a new one's coming out pretty soon. Let's see. Keith Barker in the house. Thank you for the super chat, and happy to know you too, Mr. Barker. And thank you for stopping by. Keith is the man. All right, I'm going to answer one more question because my voice is leaving, and coffee's not fixing it. Okay, let's see. Okay, Evan says, I have been fired from my work, which sucks. I've been there, dude. I remember I was working in a call center, and it was something so stupid I got fired for. But I remember my wife, she just had her baby. or her baby, our baby, and it was our first kid, and we were living in this crappy roach coach apartment kind of thing, and I lost my job, and it was a $10 an hour job, and it was barely making ends meet, and I'm like, I got fired. I'm like, crap. I was in tears. It sucked. I lost your question. Where'd it go? I'm gonna find your question. Oh, there it is. It was IT work with studies on the side. So that sucks too, because like that was a great place for you to work. What would I recommend to do without school anymore? What path should I go for? If I understand your question correctly, I would say just keep going down the path you were going. I mean, certifications, self-study with certifications, the gold standard, in my opinion, of how to get into IT and change your stinking life. Because I always say it, being in IT is just one long self-study session. You might get your CCNA. That's just the beginning. When you get into a role, you're going to spend your whole time on Google or reading Cisco documentation, Cisco white sheets, all kinds of stuff. I can't tell you how much of my job was just researching, and learning a new skill, labbing, and then like a small percentage of it was actually deploying, because you learn so much. So learning how to learning how to self-study, have that self motivation to self-study is so key in IT. So pick that up now. Oh my gosh, it'll be so valuable. That's what I would recommend. I know losing your job sucks. Maybe find a job that's kind of has a lot of downtime. Like I used to, I worked in when I was selling toilets. I have to say, I was a horrible toilet salesman, because you know what I was doing in my spare time, which was supposed to be work time. I was studying for my CompTIA A+. That's what I was doing. I was supposed to be making cold calls to apartment complexes saying, hey, would you like some toilets? No, I was peeking over my cubicle saying, okay, the boss just walked into his office. Cool, door shut. Popped up my A+ book, and I'm studying, man. I had visions. I had a dream. So find a job that'll let you do that, or find a job that you can get away with it. But yeah, and I love what Mark Green just said. You'll get a better job. Yeah. There's better jobs. There's always a better job. It may be right after the next job, which may be the worst job. You never know. But there's always a better job. So keep that optimism up. You'll be great. Oh, Evan, no worries. He said sorry for my English. He's French, which is super cool. I know a little bit of French. My family and I are trying to become francophones, and we traveled to Paris was it last year? No, year before. Spent 3 months there. We want to go back so bad. Jay says best place to learn cloud. CBT Nuggets, duh. I produced the Azure Administrator course. So if you want to, and also the AZ900. So if you want to get started in cloud, I love Azure. Great place to start. One thing I've learned is that if you learn one cloud technology, you're going to very easily be able to move on to another cloud technology. Just how it works. Feature parity is pretty high. CBT Nuggets, we have so Azure. I did the beginning course, the very beginning course, the administrator course, and I work with Knox on that. Knox also produced some of the more advanced certs in Azure. And then AWS, we've got everything. And we got a killer guy, Bart, his name is Cloud Bart. Yeah, Cloud Bart, who is like an AWS guru, master, ninja. Yeah, do it, dude. Yeah, Evan. Yeah, French is difficult. I'm a Duolingo guy. I used it for a while. I need to get back into it actually. But yeah, I love French. John Doe. I keep saying the last question, but I can't stop. CCNP Enterprise or security first? Enterprise. I would say Enterprise. Well, gosh, I keep going back on what I'm saying. The industry is going to be weird. I'm not sure yet. You can't go wrong with either. The barrier to entry into CCNP isn't huge anymore because, before, currently now, to get your CCNP security, 4 exams. Oh my goodness. See you in 2 years, honey. No, but now the new one, it's just take the core exam and take a concentration, which is awesome. So I would say you can get both for the same price you can get just one now. So Encore, take the Encore, or Enterprise, take the Encore exam, specialization. Go to Security, take the Security Core exam, specialization. 4 tests, same as what it is now. Yeah, that's what I would say. Williams, thank you for your words of encouragement and your continuing words of encouragement. Can't catch me, can't get me down. Boris asks, what do I think of Linux Academy? They just got bought out by A Cloud Guru. I honestly, I subscribe to them. I do look at them from time to time. They're good. They're good. I want to be fair. I don't want to be too biased because I do work for a training company that is a direct competitor of said company. But in my opinion, I think training should have a ton of heart and soul. I think training should be fun. I think training should leave you just wanting to do more, to where you can't wait to train the next day, and it shouldn't feel like going to school. So, not to say that there's not sections of Linux Academy that aren't like that, but there are some parts that I've seen that aren't like that. So that's my opinion. I'll leave it at that. Oh man. Oh, William said it was a joke. Okay, cool. I won't take it personally. Last question, and I'm gonna answer it because I'm not really sure. I want someone to help me answer it. Martin says, "Is collaboration still a good career?" So Cisco collaboration is such a it's one of the skills I still get calls about, and I'm still technically doing it as an engineer for a company, but I haven't done a project in a while. It's one of those skills that if you know it, you can demand whatever salary you want because it's a rare skill. It's one of, like, everyone gets their CCNA routing and switching. Most people end up going to CCNP routing and switching. Very rarely did anyone go to CCNA collaboration and CCNP collaboration. It's one of those skills that are so stinking rare that when you get it and you find the right company, woo, you're making some money, man. You're making some crazy money. But does it have a future? Yeah, I think it does. Gosh, it's one of those things where automation is going to hit it. It is. I was just talking to a buddy of mine today, the packet thrower, and he was showing me some cool automation from Unified FX and how to automate some phone calls using a CTI port. I feel like such a dork saying this, but it makes me miss collaboration. I miss it. I've got some Cisco phones on the wall right now. I think there is a pretty good future for collaboration. It's going to be interesting to see how it evolves. I think we're going to see a lot more video endpoints. We're going to see a lot more cool things around chat and instant messaging. Like, yeah, there's Slack and there's Skype. And is it still Skype? Or did they change it? No, it's Teams now. Teams, Microsoft Teams. We have those things, but then Cisco still has a very dominant place in the market. It's going to be interesting. I have high hopes. I think it's one of those careers where you just have to keep your eyes open. You have to keep your eyes open like the old telephone engineers had to keep their eyes open. The guys who were doing punch downs and stuff, who were running old analog phone lines, they had a big change coming, didn't they? All the new VoIP systems, and they had to learn and change. Same thing goes for now. Things are changing a bit. I'm not sure how drastically it'll be, but for the current time, if you get your CCNP collaboration, you better believe you can have a good career right now, without a doubt. And you know what? Things do change. Like, let's say in a year, the new CCNP collaboration's like totally different, and they don't even care about most of the skills you used to have. A lot of companies still use traditional, like, people still use POTS lines, plain old telephone systems. People still use a lot of old stuff. A lot of old stuff's still going to be there. So you're going to be fine if you are already a collaboration engineer. Or you are at a company who wants to pay you to become a collaboration engineer. Dude, it's a fun ride. It's so cool combining voice with, like, Jeremy Chara got me into voice, and I was able to be a collaboration engineer, and I still love it so much. Anyways, whoo. Last question from Juan, because it's relevant. Are the new Cisco certs going to have have collaboration? Yeah, like that. That's one of the cool things, is that the collaboration is still part of the Cisco certification portfolio. They did away with a few things, and collaboration's still there. Oh man. So guys, oh my gosh, I love you guys. A lot more content coming up. I'm gonna be one of my I feel weird like listing these skills because like it's almost like my 2020 goals list. All these top 5 skills, those are my goals for this year. I'll be documenting how I'm going to study for those skills, how I'm going to develop habits, atomic habits, to make those skills stick, to make them awesome, to apply them to different areas, and we're gonna have fun with that. And just a lot more stuff coming. It's gonna be so fun. And one of my biggest goals this year is to devote more time to this channel, spend more time with you guys, because I get so much out of this, and I hope you do too. Yeah, I'm just having fun. Kelvin, here's some support. 5-minute break from my route study. Second time's a charm. Kelvin, good luck, man. Rooting for you, dude. And thank you for the super chat. And get your butt back to studying right now. Actually, I need to do the same thing. Yeah, I'll be doing that soon. Well, guys, that's about it. I'm going to end this, and I'll see you next week. We'll be doing a live stream next week, and I'll probably post a few videos. And if you want to hang out in the Discord channel, go join that sucker. Catch you guys later. I'm ending it now.